Hi. Yesterday I spoke about our lighthouse in relation to podcasting, and that's all about self-awareness, who we are, what we do, why we do it, and that's going to inform the message that we share, first of all, with the podcast host, so that we can actually convince them that we have something of value to share with their audience. And secondly, when we get accepted by the podcast host, how we provide value to their audience. Now, I was asked today, how do we find podcasts to approach and to pitch to, and where we might be able to come on as a guest? And so I thought I'd share some quick tips today on 3 ways that you can do that. Now, first of all, they need to be relevant podcasts. So I'll talk a little bit later some more in another episode of getting really clear about who your dream audience is. So we've talked about the lighthouse, the self-awareness bit. Now we need to get to know who the dream audience is that we want to get in front of. And we'll also work on the messaging, but that's all got to match with the right podcast audience. So that's the first thing. You need to identify podcasts that have that dream audience. So being really clear about the lighthouse and the subsequent topics that I will cover soon around who the dream audience is and how you craft a message for them. The second point, and this is where you can start to look for podcast, is simply do searches. Search on Google, search on Apple Podcasts and on Google Podcasts, because they're specific directories for podcasts, and Apple is the biggest podcast directory. Now, when you search there, start off with categories that are relevant to you. Also look at podcasts that you subscribe to or you have listened to, even if they're only single episodes, and look for the section that says similar podcasts or people also listen to, and have a look at those as well. So that often turns up ones that you don't get by a straight search. Then there's a couple of directories that are less familiar to a lot of people that are specific podcasting directories, and they are Listen Notes and Podchaser. Now, Listen Notes is a really good podcasting search engine and also offers the ability to see this. People who listen to this also listen to those shows. It's a little bit like the Amazon other books. People who bought this book also bought these other books. So it's a little bit like that, and that gives you an idea of similar podcasts when you do come across something that you think is relevant for you. So Listen Notes and Podchaser, and also go specifically to podcasts you listen to in those search engines, because then you'll see the people who listen to this also listen to sections specific to those podcasts. The next one is there's a lot of services out there that place people on podcasts as guests. Now, many of those are paid services, and we also have a service like that. But before you pay for a service like that, you can start to get your feet wet by exploring things like podcastguests.com. You can list yourself for free on there. You do get more when you pay for a listing, so there's a premium package, but you can list yourself for free as a podcast guest, or you can do searches within their directory for podcasts that are specifically looking for guests. And the other one is matchmaker.co. Matchmaker is exactly what it says. It matches up potential podcast guests with podcast hosts looking for guests. And the thing about Matchmaker is I've found that there's lots of podcasts in there that are still just starting up. So they may not have the profile that perhaps you desire, but that's okay, because those people have an audience. And if it's the right audience, if it's your dream audience, then you can get in front of them. You have that opportunity. And the third tip, that was actually the third tip. I can't count today for some reason. So 3 tips then. Be really clear, self-aware about who you are and why you're doing this and what your message is. And then we'll talk later about the dream audience and how you figure that out. then look through the directories like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and of course just Google itself, and then Listen Notes and Podchaser. And thirdly, check out the services that actually match guests up, like Podcast Guests and Matchmaker. All right, if you got value out of this, please like the post, please comment and leave us your favorite methods to identify podcasts that you want to appear on as a guest. And also any questions you have, post them here as well, and we'll deal with them on future episodes. In the meantime, check out Tales of Marketing Transformation, episode 18. It landed today. It talks in great detail about our lighthouse, how we get really clear about that, and it walks you through the exercise of building your profile that will then help you put together a pitch later on. Thanks. That's all for today. Let's make marketing human again.